Go. Hey everyone, I'm Catherine Biroy, your personal growth and business coach, and I have just one mission: to help you do what you love and make your dream business flourish. Therefore, I'm bringing experts to discuss certain topics with them, and I'm very honored to have Scott Aaron today with me. Scott is an internationally acclaimed and award-winning online marketer, best-selling author, top podcaster, and speaker. Scott is the go-to specialist when it comes to converting traffic, establishing connections, creating income, and building personal brand using his patented system on LinkedIn. Welcome, Scott. We're going to talk about my favorite subject.
Well, Catherine, it's an honor and a pleasure to be on the show today, and still grateful to have you on my podcast as well. So just really good to reconnect and be here with you today.
Absolutely. I love that. So tell me, why LinkedIn over Facebook and Instagram?
Well, it's a long-winded answer, but I can shorten it for you. So for me, when I started to take a look at my business and I started to focus on the avatar, and for people that don't know what an avatar is, it's the person, the industry, the professional title of the person that's most likely going to do business with you, whether it's a collaboration, whether they're purchasing a good, a product, or a service from you. What is that person? Who is that person? And what do they do? And when I started to really think about who the type of person that I wanted to work with was, I started to realize they weren't on Facebook and they weren't on Instagram. And I remember I read an article on Forbes a few years ago, and it started to go over the demographics of social media. And it was glaring, and I couldn't kind of turn away from it, and I had to lean into it. And it basically said that, the average age of someone on Facebook and Instagram is 18 to 29, which unfortunately I'm not anymore. The average income that someone makes on those two platforms is $30,000 a year or less. So the money mindset's not really there. Mm-hmm. And you're only allowed 5,000 friends on Facebook, and Instagram has the highest ratio percentage-wise of fake accounts to real accounts on all social media. So then I took a look at LinkedIn. Average age, 30 to 55, which are more professional, so they're more seasoned. Number two, the average income is $100,000 a year or more. And number three, you're allowed 30,000 organic connections in your network. So when I looked at these statistics, at the same time, I was reading a book called Go for No, which talks about how yes is the destination, but no is how you get there. And it talked about the amount of conversations that you needed to have. And I said, instead of me hanging out on a platform like Facebook that's a barbecue, it's where people are just hanging out and commiserating, or Instagram, where it's the reality TV show of social media, I need to hang out on a global networking platform where people are looking to talk, they're looking to collaborate, they're looking to create, they're looking to do business and pass business back and forth. And I can positively and with 100% certainty say that you can combine Facebook and Instagram on the organic platform. You will never, ever generate the amount of quality and real leads that Facebook or that LinkedIn can do by itself. And with that statistic right there, that was my number one reason for choosing LinkedIn over all the other platforms.
There is not one word you said that I don't agree with. Not even a breathing hesitation you did that I don't agree with. That's absolutely true. And I would like to invite people and to support them to come on LinkedIn more. And, people on Facebook usually ask me, but you're talking about LinkedIn on Facebook. Yes, maybe someone will actually see that and really come where the right place is. So what is the biggest mistake people actually do on LinkedIn?
Well, I think there's a few different mistakes. The two biggest I see, when people are sending connections, they add a note, and they're trying to sell and pitch in the note. So I have, example, I had a guy that was in financial services, send me a connection, and he said, hey, Scott, my firm does this, that, or the other. I don't care what your firm does. I didn't ask what your firm does. So there was a study done by a third party that wanted to see if sending a note with the connection compared to just sending a blind connection had any more or less advantage. And they sent thousands of connections with notes, and they sent thousands of connections without. And the acceptance rate was just about the same, but here's why. When they added the note, they added just a general note. You know, Catherine just wanted to send you a connection. Hope we can speak soon. Not trying to sell and pitch. So that's like the first big problem. If you're going to send someone a connection request, don't add a note. And if you're going to add a note, make sure you don't sell or pitch in it. The biggest mistake is messaging. This is where the wheels completely fall off. I can't tell you, Catherine, how many 18-paragraph long drunkalogs I've gotten from people on LinkedIn that are trying to sell me and pitch me and click this link, schedule a call, watch this video here. I didn't ask for any of that. And that is the quickest way for me to remove your connection if you do that. But also accompanying that, people are using a lot of automated software. You know, you came on my podcast and you said that you personally respond to everyone's message, as do I. I can tell right off the bat if someone's using software, because when you accept their connection, boom, what happens? You get this nicely crafted message that, how did it get sent that quickly? So I'm going to kind of go into something that I teach in one of my courses, and I call this the magic formula. So for anyone that's listening to this or watching this, and you're on LinkedIn and you're not getting the kind of response that you want, I've created something called a magic formula. It's a 3-step process to really organically and genuinely messaging someone to start talking to them offline, not online. There are so many people that get into these text battles in Messenger. You want to take it from online to offline as quickly as possible. The magic happens either on a Zoom or a phone call or a WhatsApp call or whatever you're using. That's where the magic happens. The first thing you do is you want to just state the person's name. You don't have to say, "Dear Catherine," blah, blah. Like, you can make it informal. You know, "Hey, Catherine, great to be connected to you." The second part, I call it lowering the drawbridge. And if anyone is familiar with a drawbridge, when a drawbridge is up, it allows the boats to pass through. When the drawbridge comes down, it allows traffic to then flow back and forth. So what I mean by lowering the drawbridge is you need to put something in the body of the message that is going to lower that drawbridge for that person to come across where there's relatability. So I would say, you know, "Hey, Catherine, great to be connected to you. I noticed that you're also a lover of LinkedIn, as am I. Would love to hear how you're experiencing is with it. Share more about how things have been going with mine to see how we can support each other here on the platform." So I've done 2 things. Number 1, I've lowered the drawbridge. I've specifically let Catherine know that she loves LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. We should talk. But number 2, I use one of the most important words in the English language, and that word is support. When people, it's been scientifically proven, when people just hear or read the word support, it triggers your brain to produce a chemical called oxytocin. It's your feel-good brain chemical, just like endorphins, dopamine, cortisol, any of those chemicals that your body produces when it's heightened. So someone is feeling good when you're reading their message. The third and final part is called a CTA, a call to action. You have to ASK to GET. You have to ask in order to get. So questions lead to answers, statements lead to nowhere. So if you don't ask the person if they're open to speaking, they're never going to let you know. So I would simply finish with, "Do you have any time this week or next week for a call or a Zoom?" So you state the person's name, you lower the drawbridge without pitching or selling, and you see when they're available for a call. It's that simple.
I absolutely love this. I actually had a call and the lady asked me, "How in the name of God are you doing that? Like, businesses are crashing and it looks like you are growing." And my answer was, "I'm supported." It's not just that I'm offering support to everyone who is in the same field and open for it, but in that space, people are offering support to me. And that is the main point where we all grow. You can go there by your own very fast, but if you go supported and you support people around, I like to say you're building an empire. So that's a huge difference. I like this formula. I actually or I don't add, lately I'm not adding people on my LinkedIn at all. I'll be honest. I was adding them with just a simple note, nothing. But when I receive like, 5 paragraphs with, I just don't read it. I don't read it. Why? Maybe we really can have a connection. Maybe we really can do something together, but you ruined that by sending me the 5 paragraphs of something that I will definitely not read.
Think about this. And I always say this to people. Before you send that message, would you respond to that if that was sent to you? Turn the mirror around. Look at that 5-paragraph drunkalogue. If someone sent you that message and you opened it up, number one, would you even read it? Number two, how would you feel if someone sent you that message? And if it doesn't pass the smell test, my wife and I always talk about this. If it doesn't pass the smell test, if it kind of stinks, don't send that message.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I saw there are a lot of so-called marketing agencies who are offering direct messaging. I just don't do that. Don't do that. You will ruin very powerful connections that way. Does LinkedIn have a tipping point? And what can we do right now about that?
So you and I touched on this on our podcast episode on mine. And, whether people realize this or not, LinkedIn is going through a Facebook 2012 moment. So if anybody was on Facebook back then, that's when Facebook really started to explode. Engagement was insane. Everyone saw your stuff. And right now, only about 2 to 3% of your network actually sees your content on Facebook. Whereas LinkedIn, some profiles are getting 100% viewership. So the tipping point is this. The longer that you wait to get on the platform, the less likely you are going to be to succeed on it. Now, I don't care what platform we're talking about, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Every platform has a tipping point. Every social media platform has a peak of where it's just insane and there's a lot of business being made. Just like with Facebook, and when the business pages came about, and there were people that were crushing it doing Facebook ads. I mean, they were making millions a month. Not so much anymore. The same thing could be said for LinkedIn. People like myself, people like Catherine, other people on LinkedIn are absolutely crushing it for free. We're not paying for LinkedIn ads, which, if you guys didn't know this, LinkedIn ads right now have the lowest or the highest CPC rate, which is your cost per click. So don't waste your time doing it. Stick with the general platform. But the tipping point, it's going to tip not in your favor the longer that you wait to get on the platform. So knowing, and the way that trends work in social media, that there is a peak and there is a tipping point, why wait when you're on the backside of that tipping point when you can be on the rise to the tipping point right now on LinkedIn?
Exactly. We mentioned that when we were doing your podcast, that I guess that things will change. So as soon as we start, the better results we will get. And then never mind if they change. I mean, you have your positioning and that's it. Now we will have a little fun. We will have a second part of the interview. I will ask you very quick questions and you have 10 seconds to answer to me. My audience love this part the most, my guests not so much. But you will hear the ring bell, but the time is up. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
First one, what's your favorite book?
Oh, God. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles.
Awesome. Tell me why. This is not a quick question. I'm just interested why.
It was the first money mindset book ever written in 1910. It is the only money. I'm saying this with love and honor to anyone that's ever written a money mindset book. This is the only money mindset book you ever have to read, because every money mindset book is based on the teachings and principles in that book, which at the end of the day is, instead of living in a world of competition and comparison, the science of getting rich is living in a world of collaboration, creation, and connection.
Wonderful. And I hope we are going to do that way. I mean, the civilization and all of that.
Yes.
The second one, hamburger of pizza for your cheat day.
Oh, hamburger. Without a doubt, hamburger every single day. It's the best of both worlds. You can get cheese on it, protein, carbs. Yeah, all day long. If I'm going to go for a cheat meal, hamburger, hands down.
If my husband hear that, you would be his best friend. Okay, and the number three, what makes you the most happy?
Spending time with, I get the chills every time I say it, spending time with my son and my wife.
Yeah, the same. We share that the same.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being my guest. Please tell us where people can find you and what we can expect from your magic until the end of the year.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. So on LinkedIn, I'm very omnipresent. On all of social media, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook under Scott Aaron. If you are on Instagram, my handle is @ScottAaronLinkedIn, and my website, which houses my books and my products and my services, is www.scottaaron.net. And the podcast that Catherine was on, it's on all major platforms. It's called Network Marketing Made Simple.
Beautiful. Thank you so much once again. And I see you soon. Ciao.
Thank you.